Welcome. I'm Jen Dawson. I'm a vice president with the Michaels Development Company. And I can't tell you how happy I am to be here and how happy I am that you could join us. Today is a great day. We are here to celebrate the official opening of Somerset Brownstone's affordable housing. This is a project that has been many years in the making. And I know because I was here at the very beginning back in 2009 when the city released an RFP for the redevelopment of the Douglas Harrison site. Douglas Harrison, for those of you who may not know, was a 12-building, 755-unit development complex built back in the 1930s by Prudential as workforce housing for Newark's black middle class. Following the riots in the 60s and the white flight, the blacks who lived in Douglas Harrison relocated to the housing that was now available throughout Newark, and a different demographic moved into Douglas Harrison. Over the years, Douglas Harrison saw a steady decline, and eventually the city was forced to vacate it and board it up. And it remained vacant for I don't know how many years. Today, we are here to celebrate the cooperation, the public-private partnership that results in this development. Many people and many organizations worked with us to make this day a reality. And so without further rambling on my part, I'd like to introduce our first speaker. Many of you know her. She is a lifelong Newark resident, a former freeholder, a former assembly person, a fierce advocate and champion for the city that she loves. Please welcome Blonnie Watson.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jen. Yes. Good morning, Mayor Baraka. It is so good to see you. We out together again, right after a year and a half? Thanks to you. Okay. And to all elected officials present here today and representatives of the Michaels Development Corporation, to the community as a whole, I'm honored to bring greetings from Hyde Park Gardens, the community that surrounds the development. Hyde Park Gardens Corporation, a development in this community for 57 years. I have representatives here. Could you just hold up your hand, representative from Hyde Park? Thank you so much for coming out. I know it's a hot day. I refused, Jen, to send notices throughout the whole complex. So I was a little selective with my members that I invited. I know I'll hear from that later. But today marks an historic occasion, as it did in our community in 1933 and 1935. What used to stand on this piece of land was the Douglas Harrison apartment complex that was built exclusively for African Americans as a project to clear urban blight in the city of Newark. It was back then known as the Slum Clearance Project. The park and apartments were named after abolitionists Frederick Douglass and Richard Berry Harrison, the renowned black actor who won great acclaim for his role in the Broadway play Green Pastures, where he played the role of the Lord. Now, in 1983, after many successful years of providing safe, decent housing for African Americans, Prudential Insurance, who were the original owners, sold to the new community corporation for a cost of $50. Mayor, do you think we could do that again? Within a couple of years of purchase to NCC, it became a blighted, unsafe, crime-ridden housing development where residents feared for their lives each and every day. Couldn't sleep at night for gunshots. It was an unsafe, crime-ridden housing development where residents feared for their lives because of the criminal element that had taken control of the buildings, such as gangs and swatters. Multiple shootings and killings were becoming the norm for our residents as well as the community at large. It wasn't a good time for the community, for those were scary and dangerous days. In 2002, New Community lost ownership due to tax liens and violations and whatever else. And by 2004, the buildings were vacated and closed. Demolition were prepared on behalf of the city of Newark. And in 2007, the city of Newark obtained title to the property. Demolition began and the property remained dormant for some years before development took place. I know Mayor Baraka was tired of seeing Blondie Watson and Sharon Motain talking about we got to do something. He was a councilman back then. Fast forward 13 years today, we stand on this beautiful design site, which is known as Somerset Brownstones, your new homes. A place that is safe to raise children, a place that is a part of the community, that has a legacy of productivity, a place of inclusiveness. As you look around, you see the Michaels Corporation has covered the bases working with the community. It has built safe, affordable, and beautiful residence for both our senior and younger families moving in an exclusive residential area. Please allow me to regress for just a moment. When the Douglas Harrison apartment stood on the footprints of this property, there was a portion of the property that was designed as a park that was deemed Green Acres. In this park, where for years chess games were played, children gathered, and older folks sat and talked for hours. A monument was unveiled in 1942 honoring Archie Callahan, Jr., who was the first casualty from Newark, New Jersey, to be killed, and who resided in one of the apartments. We've had some famous people that lived in Douglas Harrison at one time. And Hyde Park Gardens wanted to preserve the parkland in the spirit of community and green space that once stood on the footprints of this property. After several meetings with the Michaels Development Corporation, the city of Newark, Hyde Park Gardens, and countless hours of site plan redevelopment amicably terms were met, and the park diversion was granted, allowing the park space to maintain its acreage with a change in the footprints. Now, what you see being constructed across the street on the other side is a beautiful park which will be enjoyed by the entire community. This is what happens when community-minded residents and corporations work together. Let me acknowledge Sharon Motain. She sends her best wishes in her absence while vacationing. She's been calling this morning. I think she called the councilwoman's office. Jen, she called all the way from Hawaii. Are you guys sure you Hyde Park going to be there? Represent us. Do that. She's still giving orders from Hawaii. She's a resident of Hyde Park Gardens and advisor to Hyde Park Gardens Board of Directors from the cooperative of the projects. That was the liaison. She was the liaison from Hyde Park Gardens that collaborated with Michaels Development and the city of Newark, spearheading the park project as well as having input in naming the senior building. Her input in this collaboration cannot go unnoticed. But I would be remiss if I did not let you know that this would not have been possible without the support and commitment of our Central Ward Councilwoman, LaMonica McIver. Let's give Councilwoman a big hand. Of course, she worked with the mayor. I'm not saying the mayor didn't work with her, but she was the person that we would contact, set up meetings, and we would meet with the developer. Councilwoman McIver believes in the communities of the Central Ward. So, today is a good day. It's a new day. It's a day to celebrate and welcome the residents of Somerset Brownstone to the community, and hope we will have a good, long working relationship, making this community a jewel in the city of Newark Central Ward. We welcome you to the community. We want us to be good neighbors, and we want us to be proud of our community. And whatever we need to do to keep it the way it is today, let's do it together. I thank you. May God bless you, and have a blessed and safe day. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you. You notice I'm getting a little older and I need a little help. I remember one time I would run back to the seat.
Thank you, Ms. Watson, for those words, the comments, and the history. Before I introduce our next speaker, I just want to recognize some of the city officials who are here in attendance. I'd like to recognize Allison Ladd, who's the Director of Economic Development and Housing. She and her staff were extremely important and helpful to us in getting over the final hump to get the necessary financing and things through City Council so that we could proceed. I also like to recognize and thank her Assistant Director of Development, Bazola Taiwo, who I must have called, texted, emailed, and faxed dozens and dozens and dozens of times. So thank you both. I'd also like to recognize HMFA's Natasha Solomon, who's here today. And from the Housing Authority, we have Victor Cirillo representing the commissioners, and also Jackie Oliver, who worked with us in the Section 8 department to get the subsidy flowing, which was so critical for us to be able to provide the necessary services for our residents. So, and while he's not here, I'd also like to recognize Phil Scott, Director of Oh, you did make it. Thank you. Phil Scott, friend, colleague, and certainly an asset to the city of Newark, as well as Chris Watson, the Director of Planning. He spent countless hours meeting with us, the councilwoman's staff, and Hyde Park Gardens to put the final touches on the park design. So, and if I've omitted any other dignitaries, please forgive me. Next, I'd like to introduce the councilperson for the Central Ward, the Honorable LaMonica McIvers. I can tell you from personal experience that the councilwoman is a fierce fighter, tenacious, doesn't take no, takes no prisoners, and she does it out of her great love and devotion for this city that she calls home. Once she saw that we at Michaels were committed to fulfilling our obligations and commitment to the city, she counted us as friends. And we have been working together in partnership ever since. And so I am very pleased and proud and happy to ask the Honorable LaMonica McIvers to the podium.
Thank you, Jen, so much for that. I want to say the sound is so low. I'm struggling with hearing. Maybe I'm getting a little older, too. So I'll be brief. I think, first of all, Assemblywoman Blondie Watson really summed it up for us here with the history and going back and just how we kind of got here. I think this is my first project as serving as councilwoman where I worked from start to finish, but not initially the planning start. But as the mayor always say, he loves to come to groundbreakings, but really he loves the ribbon cutting of it because it's the finale of it. And so I would say we were here for the groundbreaking, and now we're here for the ribbon cutting. So it's definitely a joy and a pleasure to be here. Definitely, I always say this area is like a hidden gem here in the city of Newark. It's wonderful as you can look around. It's beautiful, lots of green space, wonderful residents, school locations. It really is a prime destination here in the Central Ward of a place that used to be written where you were not trying to drive down the street around here. And so to be here to this day is definitely truly a testimony. I honestly truly just want to give thanks to God at this moment because it was rough, getting to this point. I just want to take the time to thank those who got us here, the many countless meetings, to my staff, Nikki Graham is here, who helped organize those meetings, to the deputy mayor who rode in from Washington, D.C. to literally Somerset Street at some point, to Bisola, who kind of tolerated us all through the process, and definitely to the residents of Hyde Park. This project and everything that you see around here is truly a testimony to where you have community partnership and corporate partnership, and just us working together to come together to have a collective finished product. And it's truly that. So it's just a pleasure for me to serve. I didn't build the bricks on these properties. I really did the easy part and just bringing us all together. And definitely none of it would be possible without our mayor. I remember he hosted a meeting in his conference room to bring us to this point, to get us on a point. So with us having a mayor with the vision that he has, this is what you get here in the city of Newark, and we're grateful and we're definitely blessed to have him. So thank you all for making it possible. To the residents of Somerset, I saw a resident one day I was riding by who stopped me about something, but definitely welcome to your new home. I know you've been here for a couple of months, but definitely I hope you're enjoying it. And for whatever reason, if you're not, you know how to call my office to say that you're not. So thank you all, and God bless everyone.
Thank you, Councilwoman. We are about the business of lifting lives. We do this by providing affordable housing, yes, but we also open doors to opportunities. We do this through the Michaels Scholarship Foundation. Since its inception in 1991, Michaels has provided over $9 million in scholarships. These scholarships are made available to residents who live in our communities, and they can be used to go to any vocational, college, university of their choice. I am very proud to be able to introduce to you the recipient of a scholarship here at Somerset Brownstones. I would like to ask recipient Zaya Jefferson and his proud mother, Yvonne Reeves, to come up and say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to be standing up here because when I did the application, I had like 3 days to fill it out and submit everything back in, and I was on. I'm like, did you do your letter? Did you write? Did you get your GPA information? Did you get your grades and everything? So I had 3 days to submit everything in, and then I was a little worried. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm too late, or maybe they won't, fund my son for his education. And then I got the letter in the mail, and I was so happy that he was accepted to receive the scholarship money. So I'm very thankful for the Michael organization. I'm a little nervous because I'm not a public speaker. I want to say thank you for Somerset Brownstone's staff, because they was helping me. I used to go in their office, let me use your fax receipt. Let me fax this over to Miss Fernandez. So I want to say thank you, and I really appreciate the funds that my son received for the scholarship, and I will make sure his grade average be up the part.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zaya Jefferson. First off, I want to thank my family back there and my mom for making sure that I'm always on point, because being a kid from North is not that easy, and making sure that I'll come up with the right GPA for this organization and the Michaels organization and receive this scholarship, it was truly a blessing. Next year I will be attending NJCU, where I will be attending NJCU, and one of my biggest goals growing up was playing college basketball. So now I'm able to continue that dream, and also I'll be majoring in sports management. And hopefully after school, one of my goals is to become an entrepreneur. So standing here right now, that's a dream come true in receiving this gift. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who played the role today, and thank God. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Now that is something to get excited about. Please give them another round. Thank you. Thank you. And congratulations. Okay, at this juncture, I'm going to give the floor to my colleague and friend, Jonathan Lebonski.
Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be here to celebrate this tremendous day. My name is Jonathan Lebonski, and I'm Vice President of Development for the Michaels organization. And I was not a part of this project from the very beginning, but the prior phase, which you see Harrison Park Square in the foreground, that was our first phase, a 57-unit senior community. But I was with Somerset Brownstones from the beginning. And it's such a great day today. A lot of work went into it. I want to thank Mayor Baraka, Councilwoman McIver, Deputy Mayor Ladd, Freeholder Watson, Victor Cirillo for coming today, and everyone for coming to celebrate this day. Because today is very special. We're celebrating 60 brand new 100% affordable apartments in the Central Ward, and it is a very special day. Affordable housing changes lives. It transforms lives. This neighborhood deserves our collective focus, our attention, and our investment. People say we invest in housing, but we invest in housing because we're investing in people. And we know that people make neighborhoods. And housing is more than just four walls. Housing is where parents take care of their children. It's where families thrive. It's where families grow. And no one should sleep on the street. No one should have to sleep under a bridge. And Somerset Brownstones is providing permanent housing for 15 homeless families. 15 formerly homeless families. And 45 other families. That takes a tremendous amount of commitment from everyone here today. And it truly takes a village. We say that often. The city of Newark is fortunate to have strong leadership and an unwavering commitments to its residents through the mayor, through Council President Crump, who's not here today, Councilwoman McIver, and the entire governing body. Strong leaders are guided by Allison Ladd and her staff to execute the vision of transformation. The Michaels organization has been a longstanding partner of this city and its housing authority led by Victor Cirillo. The city's financial support in the form of home funds and rental assistance provided by the housing authority was absolutely critical. We would not be here today if it was not for the city's support and assistance. And affordable housing does not get developed in the state without New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency. The agency provided tax credits that amounted to $11.3 million, which was the largest piece of the capital stack Without their support and the guidance of Executive Director Melanie Walter, this project would not come to fruition. Our financing partners at Berkadia, who maximized the values of those tax credits and also raised $6.2 million of permanent debt for this property. The Federal Home Loan Bank, who contributed $1.2 million from their affordable housing program. All of these financial pieces were critical and necessary. And Somerset Brownstones is a beautiful property. It's modern, it's energy efficient, yet the goal was that it looked like it hastened back to old times, and has a historic character. This is because our friends at KNTM Architects, Karen and Tony and David from Matrix Engineering and Sean Savage, who engineered a completely stunning design of a building. Really improves certainly what was here before, which is a vacant parcel. I have to be very honest about something. I was terrified about this project because we had the tightest construction schedule that I had ever been a part of. And if it wasn't for Jack Curran from our office at Michaels and our partners at ARC Building Partners, Pat Cox, Tom DiLeonardo, Rodney Davis, who coordinated with the building department during a global pandemic, which is just an incredible feat. Working with Director Scott, it was just a textbook case, a testament to cooperation and coordination, again, during a global pandemic. It was just incredible to deliver this project on time and amazingly on budget. And local hiring is very important to us. Just a couple stats that I think are important. The total cost to construct this project, hard cost, was $11 million. Just under 25% of that amount went to women-owned businesses. 40% went to minority businesses. Over 63% went to local businesses right here in Newark. And 68% of the total contract went to regional Section 3 certified businesses. And that's really what it's all about. It's a true investment in our community. There's so many committed and talented individuals that deserve recognition. Last and certainly not least is our property management company. As developers, we can kind of wrap up the project. It looks beautiful the first couple years, but really our property management staff are the ones that have probably the hardest jobs within our company. They have to take care of our residents, which is what this is all about. And things break. Things happen, and we don't like when things happen like that. And they're managing a lot of different variables, and they have a very difficult job. So Mario Milano, Jahida Valentin, Lynette Smith, Wanda Vasquez, Chris Lane, they work tirelessly. They're so committed, and you guys keep this place running, and you're going to keep it running for years to come. And last and certainly not, Last and certainly not least are our social services staff at Better Tomorrows. They're providing a menu of social services. Pat Schwartz is here, the executive director, focused on health and wellness, education, financial literacy, helping residents fill out job applications. We have an after-school program, a summer school program. While we're in the building, it's going on right now, and the children are here from so Better Tomorrows is here, and this is actually happening as we speak, and it's enriching the neighborhood, and it's enabling and uplifting lives. Congratulations, Zaire. I wish you all the luck in your endeavors. Congratulations, and thank you, everyone. Thanks to the residents. We do what we do for you. We do it together. And by the way, we're finishing construction of a park the size of a city block. And in the fall, when all the landscaping's in, hopefully we're back out here celebrating that to finish the total revitalization of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'd now like to introduce another important partner in our public-private partnership. Jonathan alluded to it. Victor Cirillo, who is the executive director of the Newark Housing Authority, The Newark Housing Authority has been a partner with Michaels on several other projects here in the city of Newark. But it is with deep gratitude that we say thank you to them for providing the necessary Section 8 vouchers to make it possible and economically feasible for us to develop this project. We would not have been able to do this without the assistance and the support of the Housing Authority. They have been here for us. They have always been a key player and partner in the city of Newark. And I would just like to, personally say thank you to Victor and ask him to come up and share a few remarks.
Thank you, Jay. And we have with us Jackie Oliver, who works on these projects from the ground up, and also as we move forward, she makes sure that our residents are being serviced and we're receiving the type of property management that they deserve. So Jackie, thank you for all your hard work, and Dwayne Knight as well. This is only one of many projects that the mayor encouraged us to partner with developers who are committed. And Jen mentioned about commitment, right? And how Councilwoman McIver was impressed with the level of commitment. And we're here for our Deputy Mayor and Economic Development Director, Allison Ladd, the mayor, to provide and be of service in partnerships, to provide vouchers to whoever's committed to the community. And what Jonathan described was just so impressive. Just creating a plan for affordable housing in itself, right? Finding the sources of financing is difficult enough, but doing it in the way that you just described with all those extra services attached to it, that's not easy, folks. That's not easy. So I'm very impressed. I'm just sitting there listening, very impressed with the way you structure this deal, and it's amazing, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next phase of the development. Representative Watson, Councilwoman Watson mentioned the history of this area, and that's also just as impressive. I mean, when I was driving in here, you start thinking Scarter Homes, Stella Wrights, you start thinking brick towers, just the evolution of the neighborhood. And before that, there was a neighborhood here, right? So those were failed initiatives, attempts at, providing affordable housing. But now, we like the way this is evolving going forward and modernizing, and the architecture, and the folks at KNTM just mentioned that they're going to be working with us on the West Side Villa project. So I'm looking forward to that because I'm very impressed with your design as well. So I'm glad to see that this is moving forward. And again, on behalf of the commissioners, thank you very much for your partnership, and Mayor Baraka for your leadership. Appreciate it. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Our last speaker is a man who over the course of his career has worn many hats. He has been an educator, a former city councilman, an author, and dare I say, a poet. He is one of Newark's, if not Newark's, most visible and articulate advocate and champion. He is a lifelong Newarker. He believes that his office is the office of the city, and he has in his tenure run the city of Newark as if he is running his household, because Newark is his home and the residents of Newark are his family. So please, help me in welcoming our mayor, Roz J. Baraka.
Thank you for those kind words. I thought you was talking about somebody else. I appreciate it. And I just want to thank I don't remember the name, the mother and the son who came up here. Really made my day. So I appreciate that, honestly. I mean, we get these, you have to deal with all these images of Newark that people put before us all the time and try to say this is us. And we're so many different things, and we've come through so much. People try to identify us as one, kind of pigeonhole us into a specific kind of characteristic. I saw this young man, he's, handsome, intelligent, articulate, his mother caring. You deserve a scholarship and more. So I appreciate that. And the rest of my day is going to be, no matter what I have to deal with, I'll remember this and it'll help me. Trust me. I want to thank the Michaels organization for having a vision and a commitment, as people said, to this community, right? Because, everybody does, some people are going to, everybody's not going to pitch their buckets. Some people are going to run. First sign of trouble, first sign of issue, little contention, the community uproar like they're supposed to. Some people leave. They make it as an excuse and say, I don't want to be here. I'm not going to do this. It's not going to work. So I thank you for believing in the city enough to go through it and do what you had to do to build this project. It's beautiful. And I'm sure the next phases will be just as beautiful. The architecture, design is beautiful as well. I want to thank the Housing Authority, Victor Cirillo, and his desire to build on these lots and buildings that have been abandoned for some time. And try to figure out how to help the city continue to have affordable housing. 100% affordable is what we need. We actually need 6,000 more units of affordable housing in the city. So this helps us, get there little by little by little. But this is what we need to be doing, building more affordable housing for folks in the city. As other cities around the state struggle with trying to build affordable housing, not wanting to build affordable housing, running from affordable housing. In Newark, every day, we're trying to find a way to build more affordable housing. So I appreciate the work that you're doing in the Housing Authority. Appreciate the councilwoman for her steadfast commitment to this community and making sure that this thing got through all the way to the end. Everybody always talks about getting the ball down the field. Not too many people get it across the goalpost. And that's the most important thing, getting it to the finish line. So I appreciate the councilwoman for that. Deputy Mayor Allison Ladd and your staff for doing everything that needs to be done and hearing all of the complaints and everything else and getting this thing together, trying to fix stuff that you didn't start. I appreciate that. I know the problem there. You have to put out fires you didn't start. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate this community and Blondie Watson and you saying we were tired of hearing you. Look, this is what we paid. This is what we signed up for. And at the end of the day, your commitment to this community made this project happen. You drove it, you fussed, you argued, you grabbed meetings together, you did what you were supposed to do. That's your job. You did that, and as a result, we are where we are, and we have to acknowledge that. So I appreciate your efforts in this and the efforts of everybody that lives in this community. I grew up in Newark, so I know what Douglas Harrison was. People can't tell me what it was. I was here. I visited Douglas Harrison. I was in the building, in the hallway. I went to apartments. I knocked on doors. I had friends here, family here. I hung out here, So this community, the Central Ward, from Hayes Homes to Stella Wright, to Scudder Homes, to all of these buildings that were in this area, we came in this community, sometimes afraid, making sure that we had friends and neighbors and other people we knew in this neighborhood. But people raise families here. In difficult times, they raise families here. They raised families in conditions that you would not put your enemy. And they found a way to make it happen in these communities with very little help, very little support, very little assistance, no investment, no opportunity. And they did what they could in these neighborhoods. And some people still want people to live in these neighborhoods like this. But I'm glad it doesn't look like that anymore. I'm glad it looks like this, and I'm glad I'm old enough and to have gone through it, to seen it. And I know some of you are older than me and know more than I have seen. To see this community develop from where it was to where it is today is a miracle. And I pray that some of those families that had to live in these conditions get an opportunity to live in this one now. Because those people who suffered during the difficult times need an opportunity to enjoy the more prosperous times. And so I pray that people get an opportunity. If they don't get an opportunity, just get a chance to drive through. hang out in the park, take a seat on a bench, tell their kids stories of what was going on in this neighborhood, what it looked like before 1967, what it looked like during 1967 and after 1967, and everything that happened as a result of that, and where we are today, and how long it took us to get to this point. So it's just not a building. I just want you to know that. It's not just buildings going up. There's a whole history of this community that's important here. And a lot of people, when they fuss, they remember that history, right? They understand that. So you have to take that with it because they lived through the difficult times and they don't want to go back there. And they're going to do whatever they can to make sure that this neighborhood is successful and that they don't have to live in those conditions any longer, right? And so I appreciate that. And I have to take whatever they give. And if I have to take it, you definitely have to take it. So I want to thank everybody who had anything to do with this. This is incredible. Be glad, as Councilman McGyver said, be a part of the ribbon cutting. When the last phase, the other phase is done, I want to be a part of that as well. I appreciate this. This is incredibly beautiful, and hopefully I'll get to come out here for a picnic or a party that maybe High Park Gardens will put something together. Who knows? But I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And that really concludes our program. We'd like you to head over to the Somerset community, where we will have the official ribbon cutting.